And Backup Assistant will let you change your Backup Assistant settings. Also, one other thing you can do there under Accounts and Sync is if you tap on your Exchange Active Sync, you can go to Account Settings, and then if you have to, you can change your password there that way too. It's easier to change it through the email application, but you can also do it through there as well. Go ahead and discard. The location setting feature will allow you to turn off your location services, including GPS. These are useful for when you're using Google Maps or Google Navigation. It allows for faster searching on not only your location but your destination. It's also good for other applications too. However, for privacy reasons or if you just want to save the battery life on the phone, it's recommended to turn these off. For privacy reasons, turning off these will turn off all geotagging and locator GPS tagging and as well as location in applications, and then it'll also make it so people can't locate the phone. The security option is where you can change a lot of features such as your screen lock. If you need to change screen lock, you can change the timer on it. I just got some generic. You can change the PIN, or you could change it to a password if you want. I would keep it to a PIN because that keeps it simpler. You can also do things like right now it's set to lock the phone after 5 minutes of inactivity. You can change that up to 15 minutes if you'd like. Or you could change it down to immediately. You can choose to use tactile feedback. What that means is the phone will buzz as you enter in your PIN. Visible passwords. And that's pretty much it. Applications will take you to your list of applications, as we'll demonstrate in another module. SD and phone storage gives you options on that. You can change the date and time here. Generally, this isn't recommended, although you could change it to a 24-hour format if you want. The phone typically syncs back with the Verizon server, so it doesn't really need... It even changes time zones automatically, so if you switch a time zone, say you fly somewhere, and you get off the plane, when it syncs up, it usually knows what time it is. And then if you go to About Phone, this will give you information on the phone, and this is handy if you want to check for a new phone update or something like that. Most menus that allow you to enter text, say text messaging or email or whatnot, will also give you the microphone option to allow you to do speech recognition, which is pretty handy when you're not available to type. If you're having problems with that, say you need to slow the rate of which it tries to recognize letters or words or whatnot, you can always go in here and go to voice input and output and calibrate it under voice recognizer settings. Text to speech settings. You can listen to an example and you can go in here and change some of the settings there. It's pretty good normally by default, but the speech rate is helpful if you're having problems with it recognizing speech. Another important setting is language and keyboard settings. So if you tap in there and then you go into touch input, you can specify the different text or typing options. One of note that a lot of people will find useful is if you go to text input, this will allow you to change the autocorrect features. Say you don't want to use autocorrect anymore because it's just annoying or it doesn't work or you're having issues with it. If you uncheck prediction, it'll turn that off, so that when you go and type something, it won't try to predict or anticipate what you're going to type anymore. It's useful, but in some cases it's not. Another option you have are the spell correction features, so that when you're done typing, then it'll give you a spell correction or when you're done typing an email, it'll do a word check or spell check before you send it. Word completion is also another one you can turn off, so that when you start typing something, it won't have a suggestion for you. The finger touch precision feature is also useful if you're having problems typing on the small QWERTY keyboard, even when you're in landscape mode. If you go into the calibration tool, or you hit reset calibrate, you can always reset your calibration, but if you go into the calibration tool, this will allow you to type in something, and then it'll kind of gauge how you type, and it makes it a little bit nicer if you want to, if you're typing regularly and you find yourself typing the wrong letter, it kind of it'll predict based how you're going to type based on the way you type. So that's another option available to you. Another option available on the desktop, we hit the home key here and go back to the desktop, and you press and hold anywhere where there's an open field on the desktop, are widgets. So if you go to widget here, you press and hold and it brings up the menu, and go to widget. It'll give you a list of different widgets available. These are fairly useful if you want a snapshot preview of a various application. As you can see, analog clock is here. You can also do bookmarks and whatnot. So let's go ahead and add a widget here. Go ahead and hit the return key, and we'll scroll over to a blank desktop screen. Press and hold, go to widget, and let's go to messages. This will bring up a list of available widgets for text messaging. So as you can see here, we can show a list of messages, or it can show it in a graphical layout, list of messages. So we'll go ahead and select list of text messages. The list of text messages is now available for preview in a widget format. If you want to remove this, you can press and hold it and drag it down to the remove trash. There are several different widgets available. So if you press and hold, go to widget, you can choose an analog clock. That's available to you. There's a calculator. You can choose different calculator styles and whatnot. So you could just flip to a screen you want and then just have a calculator there to dial in something really quick, so you don't have to go all the way into the calendar or the calculator application. There is a calendar app which will give you either a listing of different notifications. Here's a preview one which tells you basically lets you put a widget at the top here, and it'll show events that are coming up for you, etc., etc. You got a weather icon, stocks. Here's a sync all toggle. Toggles are pretty handy. So if we select sync all, toggles are pretty handy because what this will allow you to do is you can just go here and it's like a button. So you just hit sync all, it'll sync all your accounts. And that's pretty handy if you want to sync your email without actually going into the email program. Another good example of a toggle would be if you went under settings, you could choose any one of these toggles, say airplane mode, and then now you have an airplane mode toggle there. So if you hit that, it basically turns off all the radios on the phone. Or you can go in here under settings. You could also choose to turn off your GPS right away or turn it back on. You can put these on any desktop as long as you have room. And actually the toggles and the messages features are probably what I find the most useful. Bluetooth, that's another handy one if you want to turn on and off your Bluetooth. These are nice power saving features too if you want to just quickly turn on and off those features without having to go under settings. So one last thing, if we go back to our home page here, in any field that lets you, as I've previously discussed, in any field that lets you type, it'll also let you talk to type. So what that means is in the phone is built-in speech recognition, and you can go into any area and actually talk out what you want it to type in the message field. So for example, if we go to messages and then we click in here and we reply to this message, tap to compose, anytime it brings up this keyboard, it'll usually put this little microphone option here, and you can, and this is the same for an email as well. Anytime you bring up the virtual keyboard, you can press that button and then say what you want to say. This is a test. As you can see, it recognized that I said this is a test and it puts it in the field. That's pretty handy. Also too, if you don't like what it recognized, then you can hit the back arrow and immediately delete it and try to say something else or say it more clearly. So those are just some of the basic settings of the phone. There are many more options available. The phone is very powerful, but those are the main features that someone would use. I hope you find this informative, and thank you for watching.